Hi everyone. I think we can probably just start first while the participants come in. So thank you for coming in. We are expecting about 30 over participants, hopefully. This is just a regular roundtable that we organize a few times a year when we have a topic of interest. And thank you for accepting our invitation and also to participate in our roundtable today. I'm Anand. I'm from Blue Elephant Solutions. I'm based in Singapore, and I take care of the APAC area in the areas for our solutions from Blue Elephants. Today, our topic is artificial intelligence in learning and development. And we are providing this in the Asia edition today so that we can all come in at a convenient time and also share our experiences in this area, apart from Christian being an expert himself doing this and sharing his views. Okay, so welcome aboard. If you don't have any questions, do type it into the chat group, but you will also have an opportunity to participate in a question and answer discussion later in the program. So let me go through the slides a little bit. So this, as I mentioned earlier, is a regular event that we provide as a value-add service for people who we know, not just customers of Blue Elephant Solutions. And the reason is because we are quite passionate about building and improving the investments people make in the training arena, right? Who is this learning and development platform for it today? It is for high-level learning and development professionals, trainers, coaches, or any sort of L&D service provider. Also for C-level executives who are currently investing in learning and development and also have interest in making sure their training investments are secured and further made more efficient. As I mentioned, this is to foster the exchange of ideas and best practices, and to also create an international network of opportunities for all the people in the industry. So how this normally works is that we normally have a key specific focus topic. As in today, it is artificial intelligence in learning and development. Sometimes we'll have other topics, but today that's what we're going to discuss. And we normally also have a keynote speaker. Last round, we had someone from India. Today is Christian himself. And normally, depending on the number of people, we will have an introduction round at the end and also have a sharing and discussion segment. So a little bit about your host, Blue Elephant Solutions here. So what do we do primarily is we do a lot of consulting solutions, and we are in the area of digitizations for many areas, but in particular, we are very strong in learning and development. We look at business transformation as well as process digitization. We use a lot of AI enablement to augment and advance our processes. And we, as with most companies today, we are an expert in gamification and gamifying the processes of learning so that it becomes more interesting. Apart from that, we also run project management for software solutions as well as development of customs, web, and mobile solutions. Last but not the least, we also have L&D consulting in how to improve your training aspects of your courses that you want to do. We also provide learning tools such as one off-the-shelf solution and custom solutions. And we also help with training content. So some of our companies that we already have in our portfolio are, because I'm in Singapore, so I'm going to start with Singapore. Singapore Institute of Technology and Success Frontiers. These are a couple of our existing customers already. In Germany, we have University of Mannheim and also KMD. And we also have representation in India as well as US in FundWorks and Sage Fund. This is just to name a few. We have a lot more, but it's just that we don't have enough space to put everything into the slide. We have two main products. One is called Knowledge Gym. The other one is Knowledge Empire. Knowledge Gym is a structured learning tool, which goes from one question to another in a multiple choice format. Knowledge Empire is a customizable standard product, but we can also customize cockpits and other stuff in it to give you a more gamified or real feeling in trying to enhance that experience for your trainers. We've got also a number of awards that have been given to us. One of them was the Learning and Development Transformation, Digital Transformation in 2021. We are also a global leader in knowledge retention solutions. And also the last one is the Best Digitization and Gamification Consultancy in 2022. All right. Our host today is Mr. Christian Borchert, and our keynote speaker today as well. He is actually the founder and CEO of the Blue Elephant Solutions worldwide. He has a lot of expertise in L&D, gamification, and AI. He has a diploma in business economics as well as an MBA in consulting. I believe he also used to work for a big company we know today, which is BMW, amongst the many that he has worked with. He has more than 20 years experience in America's APAC and EMEA. And he's also the founder of 4 successful other companies. And he's a passionate learning and development individual. AI bandwagon, and that's why he's so keen to share today. So over to you, Christian, to start.
Right, thank you very much, Anand. I'm gonna share my screen. You should be able to see the presentation. So topic for today is on artificial intelligence and what it does mean for learning and development. And like Anand mentioned, the idea is this should only be a little brain teaser in the beginning. And then at after 15 minutes, we have time to share our experiences in this field and ask any questions we might have. So it's more an interactive session. And this is just the introduction to this topic. And I started really high level because I don't know who are the participants for this call and what they understand about artificial intelligence. So really the basic question, what is artificial intelligence? It's intelligent machines that can think, learn, reason, and make decisions like humans, but they can do this at a scale and at a speed beyond our capacities. And in general, we divide between two different main types of artificial intelligence. The one is the narrow artificial intelligence, also known as weak artificial intelligence, that is designed to perform specific tasks. Doesn't need to be bad. When it says weak, it's just not as powerful as general AI, which is also known as strong AI. That is designed to perform pretty much every intellectual task that a human also can do. Furthermore, there is a distinction between how this artificial intelligence is working. You can mainly differentiate between 3 different types. One is the rule-based artificial intelligence. This is where you program a set of rules, a set of algorithms that then follow these rules to make decisions. So often this is, for example, used in the medical field when you diagnose a medical condition based on a set of symptoms that you have. The one that now is in everybody's mouth is machine learning, and specifically one subcategory of that, which I come to in a second. Machine learning is where you don't define the rules up front, but the algorithm itself is coming up with the rules. You train it on a lot of big data, many big data, or big amount of data, and then the algorithm tries to recognize patterns in this data and come up with the rules that fit to this. Typical applications here, for example, You train an AI on recognizing or on pictures of cats and dogs, and the AI tries to understand the difference between cats and dogs. And then whenever you feed an image of a dog, the AI should be able to recognize this dog based on the parameters that it has set. And this subsegment, which probably most of you are familiar with as well, is called deep learning. So that has nothing to do with the learning and development industry, but really artificial intelligence, where you have a neural network and you simulate a network like our brain with a lot of connections. And here it's also about pattern recognition. And that's often used for really heavy lifting tasks like image and speech recognition, but also the natural language models are normally built on those artificial intelligence. When we look at what AI is in general good for, so like not only in the learning and development industry, but in general, so it's often used for natural language processing. Everybody has heard about ChatGPT by now, I guess. Microsoft with their AI, and Bing is currently coming up. But then you also have computer vision. For example, in some industries, they use this to diagnose, when you do a CT scan, for example, understand what the picture is and where there might be a cancerous cell in your CT scan. It's also used in autonomous vehicles. I mean, everybody knows Tesla by now. In robotics, there's some great progress at the moment for robots that support humans, for example, in elderly care facilities, but also in the industry where the robot automatically can understand what tasks to perform. And then personalized marketing, which is very closely related to the natural language processing part. And then, of course, many other fields where it's used to. But how is it used in learning and development? And here I researched a little bit on the different fields that it's used at the moment, and that can maybe also inspire us on how we can improve our own processes when it comes to learning and development. First of all, it's used for personalized learning. So you can adapt the learning content, the pace, and the difficulty level to every individual learner. So the AI tries to really understand every learner individually and modify the learning experience to their specific needs. Another field that is highly interesting is predictive analytics. So you actually try to provide interventions before a problem or a learning gap is obvious. So you try to predict when does a certain person need certain information that it might have lost or never learned before, and then provide it upfront for this specific person. Adaptive learning is where you adapt the learning experience and the recommendations for this person based on like their experiences, and then create a personalized study plan and learning plan for them. Another one that is, I think, highly interesting in the future is intelligent tutoring. So you have not a real person sitting next to somebody giving him tips and feedback, but you have used natural language processing and artificial intelligence to engage with these learners, give them feedback, answer their specific questions. Similar area is the chatbots. They will provide learners with on-demand support and assistance. So here it's more like on-the-job learning. You have a certain task and you just ask the chatbot how to solve it. In the past, you have maybe Googled it, or you went to YouTube and watched a YouTube video on it. Here you will have chatbots that are integrated in the different systems to provide you directly with feedback, and you don't need to read I don't know, 20 or 50 page long how-tos and tips and tricks to find whatever information you're looking for. Another field of application of artificial intelligence is in learning analytics. Here it's to gain insights into learner behaviors and improve their outcomes. And also talent development to identify high potentials and create personal development plans for these high potentials. Another very big area for application is in content creation. You can use artificial intelligence to really create content at scale. So it can help you to create learning content itself. And in an even further advanced version, you can even have personalized content at scale. So for every individual person, the learning content will be slightly different than for the other person. And there's, of course, many other applications, and I'm very curious later on to learn how you are currently leveraging artificial intelligence and what use cases you planning to use it or are using it already. Maybe to give you 3 examples on how we implement artificial intelligence into the learning experience. First part on actually the oldest artificial intelligence that we have embedded into our tools is on the personalized learning and predictive analytics. We use algorithms in our tools to predict when a person starts to forget certain content that he has learned previously, and then we will repeat this content at a pace and difficulty level that is really adopted to this individual learner. So by this, you don't have this standard like every year you need to repeat certain things, but probably after a few weeks, people already have forgotten what they have learned in these trainings and still might make the same mistakes or still might not apply the rules that you actually want them to follow. And by this approach, where you use spaced repetition in combination with this algorithm that is defining when the ideal repetition time is, you make your trainings most effective because people will really implement what the rules and the guidelines that you share with them, and they will adopt behaviors just through repetition. And it also is very efficient because you only repeat content then when the learners start to forget it. A second example on how artificial intelligence is used in products from us is in the space of intelligent tutoring and chatbots. This is a tool we're building at the moment, so it's really very fresh. Not all the screens that I will show you are the final screens. And the example that I'm presenting here is, imagine you want to train somebody on having a job interview. So there will be an app where you can choose which type of personality should the hiring manager have that you will simulate a job interview with now. And then in the second step, the job interviewer is asking you, what kind of job do you actually want to interview for? Because of course you have very specific needs that you want to practice on. For example, I want to become a marketing manager, or I want to become a security guard, or whatever it is. And then you will have a conversation with this chatbot that is really simulating the hiring manager and acting as if it would be a hiring manager, asking you questions, giving you answering your questions, but also, and you see this down here, it's very small at the moment, that's something we're going to improve, give you tips and tricks on how you can improve your conversation. It gives you tips like, hey, maybe you can answer, your answer should maybe cover this and this topics, or the hiring manager tries to figure out with this question, this and this. So you really not only can practice, but you also learn and you get feedback from the system on how to improve. And this is, of course, only the start, because the future of this one is that we will be able to do also, for example, leadership trainings with this, simulate difficult situations or discussions with your employees that you need to or that your leadership needs somehow to be able to manage, or practice sales skills, selling skills. We can have the artificial intelligence simulate customers, and you can just come in and practice your selling skills, your product knowledge in a sales pitch to a virtual intelligence. I think super interesting space. And then the last one I want to show you today, and I will give you a quick live demo of this one as well, is on the topic of content creation. Here in our standard products, we have embedded functionality where you can upload any type of PDF document. And of course, you can make every PowerPoint to a PDF document and then upload it here. You select which language this one is in, and then you can tell the artificial intelligence how many learning content questions you want to generate out of this. And you can even say keywords that are in the text, and the artificial intelligence will pick up on those keywords and then formulate the questions around those keywords. And as a result, you will get a proposal for a title, a proposal for the question itself, the explanation, and then different answer options, whereby some of the answers are correct and some of them are incorrect. So I'm actually going to jump into our live system here. I'm just going to refresh and hope we're still logged in. Yeah, we are. So here at the top, you have this AI learning question generator. You can normally generate questions yourself very manually, but also if you really want to generate questions and learning content on scale, you just select the document you want to use. I downloaded here the UOB group code of conduct. UOB is the big bank in Asia. Everybody's familiar with. So I just try to pick any random document. It's, I don't know, a few pages long. And what we can now say is, okay, the content is in English. Maybe I want you to generate 5 learning contents out of this. And now I can scroll through the document. I can say, I think there was one topic on intellectual property. Maybe we grab on your intellectual property. So we can maybe formulate this one. Intellectual property as one keyword, and then we can see if there's any other keyword we want to, maybe transparency, that we could pick up on. And now I'm going to start the artificial intelligence. So what now happens is, in the first step, we take this PDF document, we convert it into a text file so that the artificial intelligence can work with it. We cut it into smaller pieces and then decide which of those pieces we're going to use for the learning content generation. And once the artificial intelligence has cut it into pieces, it's then trying to formulate useful questions out of this. So in this case here, there's one topic on discrimination. What is UOB commitment to ensuring a safe working environment free from? And then, of course, here it's free from discrimination, bullying, and harassment. Well, work injuries, employee theft, and office policies are obviously incorrect answers. But even if I would say workplace injuries, that's of course actually also a real correct answer, maybe not in this specific case. But I could, for example, just say, yeah, when we do a multiple choice, this should also be a correct answer. Or I can modify the answer option here that the artificial intelligence has given me. I can also, in addition, add additional answer options that I want to be considered. And then I can go to the next question, which is on what is UOB stance against bribery and corruption, and it generates some useful content out of this one. Why is it important for employees to uphold the highest professional and ethical standards? I think that's one of the topics that we picked up on. Intellectual property, one of the other keywords that we keyed in. It gives us also some useful information. And if I like the questions the way they are, I just click on save, and they are added to my learning content portfolio, which I then can assign into different learning modules and so on and so on. And I can also say, no, certain answers I don't want to take into my learning portfolio because they don't make sense, or I want to do something different with them. So with this one, you have really 80%, I would say, faster learning content generation, and you save 80% of your cost and time in generating this learning content. Still, somebody needs to look over it. It's not perfect. And that actually leads us back to the presentation on what are some warnings that I want to give about artificial intelligence. First of all, there can be bias in data. So the AI algorithms often are only as good as the content and the data that they have been trained on. And we need to really make sure that there is no biases in this data. So whenever you use an artificial intelligence for a certain task, make sure it's not biased for this specific task in a certain way. Another word of warning here is don't try to use artificial intelligence for everything. There is still a very, very good reason to use face-to-face interactions, to use real trainers to deliver content. It's way stronger emotionally, and it's definitely AI is a tool that can help you improve your existing tools and your existing tool case, but it's not really to replace every single interaction that you currently have with trainers. And last one is ethical and privacy implications. So here, there's a lot of concerns about data privacy and security, especially like if you analyze data of individuals, individual learners, you might take decisions on if we give them a promotion or not. So always be aware that artificial intelligence is not always unfailable. So if you give those tasks into the hand of artificial intelligence, be really sure to consider those ethical and privacy implications and make your system transparent, explainable, and also accountable for the future. Talking about the future, my last slide, and then we can start into a discussion, is on future trends that we currently see in artificial intelligence for learning and development. First one is virtual reality training. So there's a lot of artificial intelligence at the moment creating, text to image, and there's even text to video where you can input a text file and you will receive a video file as an output. Still not very good, but probably next year we will be there. And then we also see the first use of artificial intelligence to create virtual learning environments or virtual worlds. I think that will be something that will be popping up in 1 or 2 years, so 2024, 2025. I think the technology will be at that level. I think a way heavier use of natural language processing, as we already see with the huge interest on ChatGPT and what kind of boundaries that broke into normal day life. And that will be used more and more for virtual tutors that interact in natural language. Computer vision, I here just brought one specific example that I think will be used more and more in the future, is where you actually use the camera on the laptop or on the phone while somebody is doing a learning exercise, and the artificial intelligence is reading the facial impressions, like, did he understand the question? Is he having a questioning look? Does he worry? What is his expressions? And then adopt the content and the difficulty based on this kind of impressions. Another trend that is coming up, still very hidden deep down, but we see more and more, is explainable AI that helps to improve the transparency and accountability. This explainable AI, or XAI, EAI will explain how it comes up with solutions and where does it get the information from, and why does it come to the conclusion that it came to. Generative AI, definitely a strong part where it's about personalized content that is tailored to the learner's specific needs. And then another interesting field, which is a little bit connected to this computer vision part, is emotional AI, where we try to evaluate the mood of a learner and then adapt the experiences to the learner's emotional state. And there's obviously many, many more great use cases that we can develop together. And I'm super interested now, first of all, for your questions, and then to have an introduction round to get to know you, and also understand a little bit what you are doing in this field and what kind of specific questions you might have for the rest of the audience as well. So with this, I would hand over back to you, Tuan. Anand, sorry.
Thanks, Christian. Okay, so I think we've got about 10, and I think we can actually just go ahead and not break out. Let's probably have a roundtable right here. I think, is that okay with you, Christian?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So as mentioned earlier, so we're going to take about 20 minutes. Let me just share the quick slides here. If you have any questions, you will be good to ask now. Does anybody have any questions?
So, hello everyone. I'm Tuấn. I'm from Vietnam. I'm also managing sales for the Blue Elephants in the Vietnam market. So my question is, do we have a timeline for our developing features?
Very, very good question. So the first artificial intelligence that I was sharing with you, what manages when learning content should be repeated, is already live and embedded into our tool. And also the last feature that I just showed you, you saw it's also live, it's available right now. We can even think about making a standalone version out of this so that you can, adopt any kind of learning content that you have to any specific format that you want to use. Maybe even if you have an existing learning management system, to come up with the content in that format. And the third feature, which is this chatbot functionality where you can practice job interviews or selling skills or things like this. We're currently developing it, and I would assume that by this end of this quarter, this tool will be live and available for our users. And then, of course, there's more topics in the pipeline, but they're not really ready to speak about yet at this point in time.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Yes, Nikolai.
Hi, good morning. A question to Christian. To what extent have you developed, I'm assuming, something like an API to kind of make those functionalities available within other subsystems or other outside systems?
So currently we don't make them available outside, but we can build solutions around this to customize it for your specific needs. So if you have specific needs and you want to, for example, come up with learning content for your learning management system, and that is using a different format, then we can work together on developing this tool or web interface for you to make this available.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? If not, my thoughts are, as you can see the slides, let's go around the table and see and get to know each one of us a little bit better. What we can do is probably just follow the slides here. We have positions. We would like to know what you do in the company and who you work for, where you're based. If you're working on any of the current projects with AI today, and what's your experience? We would love to hear your tips and tricks, or even problems for that matter, so that we know and we can all learn together. And finally, if you have any additional questions that come along the way, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll start with myself. I'm actually the customer experience representative for Blue Elephant in Asia Pacific. I am based in Singapore. So my current projects are a couple of them here, and with Siemens Healthineers, we have a couple of childcare centers. We are also working with Singapore Institute of Technology, and finally also this company called Zeiss. It's a German-based company. We're also doing that here. I tend to communicate quite a bit with Christian on the setup and the improvement of their workflows. So I do a lot of business development here. My experience with AI, I would say I'm fairly new to it. So Christian's idea has actually plugged a primarily very difficult question in the past, where we had to engage in a customization effort to develop the key learning objectives and the questions when people when they wanted to go with us and they wanted to build the questions for us to answer. So that was a very painful experience for the person conducting or developing the training. But with the advent of AI, we today have this opportunity to now propose those questions out using the AI, like the way Christian did. So that's helped tremendously in getting a bigger buy-in from the training developers, so that because they then now have a lot less work. I would easily venture to say that it eases their workload by at least about 60 to 70%. So now they just have to vet the questions and maybe just add on or subtract what they don't like. So it's becoming easier to provide the solutions as well. And in that sense, making it easier for companies to access space learning technology, as well as using AI to improve their own training and development needs. All right. How about, would someone want to volunteer, or can we just sound out?
I think Anand, best is if you just call out the people, then we have the same order.
Okay. On my screen here, Mr. AP. I'm not sure your full name. Hi. Would you like to jump in and introduce yourself, sir? I think you're muted.
Hello. Hi. My name is AP.
Hi.
And I'm a key account manager with a company called Higher Quotient. So basically, we are based in Singapore and India. So the current projects that we are working on, we work a bit with AI. So basically, we help companies hire better. So we do virtual bots and then also virtual assessments based on the key roles, then the key tasks of job title. So somebody give us a job title, then we match it with the Singapore skill future framework. Then after that, from that we come up with all these questions that the companies, are looking for in the candidates. So yeah, and other than that, we also have certain questions, interview questions. We have free text questions. So we interpret free text questions and answers using AI. And then we are also stepping into a bit more in terms of the what do you call it, the video processing. So like you said, so at the end of the interview process, the candidate will have record maybe a 3-minute speech or 3 minutes discussion, and we interpret the sound, the voice, and the facial expressions. So like we check for fluency, and also we check for confidence and communication skills. Yeah.
Thanks.
So the main problem we have, not the main problem, but the challenge that we have, we are facing now is, I think everybody is facing, is the ChatGPT. Because when you have this ChatGPT, and when you do assessments, normally what the candidates can do is that they can just copy paste over there, then come up the answers, then they put the answers in your assessments. So that's something that we are trying to work towards.
Yeah, so you still need a little bit of that intervention to try and manage that case, right? Yeah, it's still, there are ways around it. It's still a system at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. How about, I've got Nick, is it Nikolai? We just heard you just now.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, my name is Nikolai Endler. I'm the CEO of my own company, which is a consulting, business methods, training company. So I do coaching, training, consulting, lecturing. I'm based in Switzerland. My current project is helping a company with the development of their digital strategy or of an overall company digitalization strategy. My experience is largely around consulting and the tools and methods to standardize the way of working in a way for projects problem solving. So it's about, if you summarize it, I'm the tools guy. So I'm very much focused on methods and yeah, let's say methods and models. And the reason I'm here is I'm interested in understanding how, besides artificial intelligence, like if I step back I see this as knowledge management.
Yeah.
So I know it's kind of it's not such a cool word to use because it's kind of a bit burned, and a lot of companies try to implement knowledge management and all they used it in systems and nobody adopted it. So I have a question to the round table. Before you use clever AI, people need to be ready to learn. They need to be prepared to learn. They need to be prepared to have that time investment. And it also includes for me sharing. So it's kind of learning and sharing. And I could imagine if the AI is really sexy, it kind of draws people easier to it. In terms of gamification, but in general, how do you deal with the readiness, almost like the change management, if you want to have a buzzword around it, but the readiness for taking that time investment and the preparedness to engage with learning? Over to you guys.
Thanks. Anyone who wants to answer that question? Actually, it's a really good question, Nikolai. The fundamental motivation in wanting to learn, right? Do we have an expert who would like to address that?
Good afternoon.
Yep, Mintun.
Yeah, I'm based in Jakarta. We run a tech company with a little more than 120 people. Picking up where Nikolai left off, yeah, the crowd mentality, and when I say crowd, the current day employees have drastically changed. You know, I'm in my past my mid-40s, so the values or the accountability, responsibility with which we grew up, when we, and also in the beginning of our career, some 22 years ago, you didn't really have that flexibility and or the empowerment. I mean, is it all good? No. Is it all bad? I should know, right? The problem these days, I think, is the value that people put on have changed quite a bit. And in the past, I grew up with the understanding, or call it understanding, that when an organization you work for sends you for training and stuff like that, that is very welcoming. It provides job security. No company is going to get rid of you, after they send you for training, skills upgrading and stuff like that, after they've just invested in you. And but what we are noticing here is, not just here, I don't mean in Indonesia, here in terms of today, is that obviously, when a company invests in the employee, they're going to expect something back from you. There's give and take. But there are a lot of benefits that come with it. Your job security, you get to try your hands on the new knowledge with the practical opportunity. And but today we noticed that a lot of the younger kids, they don't necessarily want to be sort of like, I wouldn't want to use the word bond, but they don't want to. They will refuse training and development, because then they either have to co-pay part of the cost for the upskilling, or if the company bears the cost fully, they then have to, depending on the cost structure around it, they then have to commit that they can't leave the company for 12 months or 16 months or whatever the period is irrelevant, but the principle behind it is. Yeah, so we noticed that the employee, they tend to refuse just so that they don't need to be bonded. It is okay for someone with a lot of experience, subject matter expert, with 20, 25 years of experience under the belt, to say no. It's quite acceptable, but it is not okay, and it's quite distracting to see and hear the younger kids at I'm talking between 22 to 30, without a lot of life experience or work experience, refusing this sort of opportunity. They fail to recognize that the job security increases by accepting the company's learning and development plan, and within the company itself that they work with, if they become better at what they do, they can always renegotiate the contract and packages and stuff like that. But they don't seem to have that connectivity. I don't want to use a buzzword like millennial and entitlement and that kind of stuff, but it seems to be very, very prevalent, and it's quite a challenge to manage that. That's one from the operational optimization or increasing efficiency of the current workforce. And then the AI, the other part of the AI, this is not just learning and development, it sort of ties into hiring, filtering, interviewing, and then keeping the L&D program alive, and how do we make our people, our colleagues, to get better at what they do and stuff like that. It's still AI helps, but a lot of people are getting smart. We have two spectrums. One of them is people are very smart. They know how to write the CVs to be caught by the AI bot so that they get interviews, but they actually don't have the substance. And then you have the other end of it is the opposite, right? Yeah, so there is still a lot of gaps to be filled, and a lot of the traditional or investors and things like that will also have to be more exposed and have more in-depth understanding of what the technology does to be able to make it more efficient and seamless.
Yeah, sounds like a mixed bag of strategies, actually. And I don't know. I'm interpreting it as something like you may have different individuals requiring different motivational levels at different stages in either their career or their lives, I believe. So I think really, if I'm hearing this right, I think we really need to custom that part into understanding the audience and also the flow we want to do that, right?
What I'm saying is, learning and development is one part of the entire ecosystem of human asset development, right? So we can't really talk about just that. It needs to be end to end. Learning and development is continuing.
Min, can I find out which position and company and where you are based at?
We're based in Jakarta. We're a tech company with more than 120 people working, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing. Why don't we open the floor to the others? Does anybody want to quickly jump in? Munir?
Okay, yes. How are you, Christian, Anand? Okay, we are Munir Badres from Hijrah Coach. We have also make a digital for coaching based on AI. For that, I need maybe because I have a meeting again on 2 o'clock. I need you to. I'm very interested with AI generator. You show me for that. Maybe you can add me on LinkedIn and we can make a meeting for another session, inshallah.
Yeah, definitely. I'll look you up, Munir. No problem. Thank you very much.
Okay, maybe Christian, you can all make an invitation or anything from my LinkedIn or by email. Okay, and we will contact you soon as possible. Thank you very much. And I need to take a permit because we must go from the leaving from the meeting today. Thank you, Christian. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. How about Adrian Setiawan? Do you want to introduce yourself and maybe share a little bit about your experience here?
Okay, hi, Anand. Great to meet you here.
Yeah, nice to meet you finally.
Okay. So I also have another meeting at 2 p.m. Jakarta time. So I just make a quick introduction. So I'm working in HR. I'm working in a startup tech company, Travel, based in Jakarta, Indonesia. Currently why I'm joining this session today because currently I work on building learning initiative, learning and development initiative in the company for various functions like technology team, product team, and also the sales team and commercial team.
Thanks. You have any more questions, or maybe we'll just catch up another time when I believe you're rushing, right?
No question at the moment, but yeah, would love to catch up with you guys.
Nice seeing you. Thank you. How about Ferdinand Fong?
Hi, Ferdinand here. So, well, my name's it's there. It's written right there. Position, I'm actually a senior consultant in IT security. I'm working with NCS, so I'm actually located here in Singapore, just like you, Anand.
Yeah, thank you.
Not working on any specific AI projects. The reason why I'm here today is to just keep abreast with the AI industry, to see where we are with the growth and what's happening right now in the AI area, and to keep abreast of things and try to learn a bit more, mostly from the perspective of IT security, I would say. So just learning, nothing too much to share, unfortunately, but happy to get connected on LinkedIn as well, and maybe if there's anything you want to chat about pertaining to AI and cybersecurity and stuff like that, feel free to reach out. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I will. I think you're quite near me. You're certainly around the Bedok area, right?
Well, actually, I'm based with the government's operations center, the infrastructure operations center at Mapletree, GovTech. So the Bedok one, yes, it's a different branch, but the main campus is actually in Ang Mo Kio.
All right. Yep. Okay. Thank you. We'll try and catch it. I understand a lot of us are probably dropping off because we have some appointments.
Yeah, it is a work day.
So thank you for your time today, gentlemen. It's been a privilege to talk to you. I have my number as well on LinkedIn when I invited. Yeah.
If I may interrupt you, there's still one person in the call that haven't introduced him or herself. Maybe we just give this opportunity as well.
Yeah.
Vera?
Yeah, I think that's Vera.
Yes. Thank you, Christian and Anand. So I'm the partner of Mr. Munir that exit the room before. So my name is Wirata Wijaya. So my position is as operations. So my company is projecting on business coaching consultant, which is located in Jakarta, Indonesia. So our current project is about developing the EA, is artificial intelligence, to contribute in the learning and development sections. About the experience, so I don't think it's what is it, experience or maybe tips and tricks, but I will skip it. But in learning and development area, I think there's so many challenges that we should take some point. The first is about the engagement. In our region, Jakarta, mostly the company will more spend the cost to hold some workshop in learning and development rather than investing in technology, sort of that. Yes. So, but several of the company is start to developing because the engagement when held in a workshop is not optimized, so not maximized in the output. So maybe about the dashboard reporting, how they can achieve like that, because in this company in region Jakarta, learning and development is used to like promoting and demoting some of positions like that. But what I want to sharing is we want to expand this development AI to contribute in support the engagement like that, Christian and Anand. So it's interesting that you show me the slide about the artificial trends in learning and development area, but maybe I need some sort of the details like that, because about the AI position right now, or maybe the time plan about the developing how the AI can be not substitute, but can be an assistance, like that is the assistance to support the learning and development. Maybe sort of that, Christian and Anand.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to share that with you. I'll follow up after this call within the next day or two to see if we can maybe do a Zoom call and then see how we can explore further. How does that sound?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much, Vera. Marcus, do you want to just let us know your experience?
Yeah, so I am starting the business coach with the action coach. So I'm the certified business coach in Vietnam. And because of this position, I have the network of the business coach in Vietnam. So they are kind of also the experts in their field. So some people is the expert in the digital marketing, some people is the expert in the sales, the development, etc. So they also have their very strong background, and therefore I together with a senior business coach, he's the golden business coach, we open a company here in Vietnam, and we have the ambition to turn the Blue Elephant as the B2C product. So right now, Blue Elephant is the B2B. So which means that we sell the solution, we offer the solution to the companies, and our ambition is to make it as the B2C, which means that we offer the solution to the mass consumer in the Vietnam market. So at the moment, I'm fully focused on the Vietnam's market, and my target customer is the business owner for the small to medium scale company. That is my work in progress.
Thank you, Tuan. Yep. Yeah, I think we kind of like at our time. I won't take too much more of your business time, actually. Thank you very much for sharing. And with some of you, I'll probably just get in touch with you via LinkedIn and then maybe get your emails, and hopefully we can have a call to explore further. Thank you so much for your attendance today. Thank you so much for making this successful. We hope you participate in our future programs and future roundtables as well. But if you do have any questions, do reach out to me. My number is also on the webpage, as well as you can see that on the screen right now as well. So thank you, everybody. Have a great week and a successful year ahead. See you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Anand. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Anand.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.